Mac and cheese pizza, my way. Let's do it. So now what I want to do is I want to get all my ingredients in this pan. So I'm going to take my grapeseed and canola oil and we're going to just get it in there. Pan's hot. What we're making right now is the base for the mac and cheese. That's what we're making. 1 cup of white onions. Actually, they're yellow onions, I believe. These are actually yellow, I'm sorry. I said white because they're white, but they're actually classified as yellow, not white skin onions. Okay, we're going to cook that like that. I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. That's 4 tablespoons. And I'm going to pour in Sauvignon Blanc. I'm going to pour in 1 cup of that. Or half a cup. Half a cup should do. There you go. I will let this cook and reduce in volume. Okay, it's been cooking about 5 minutes. Let's just check it really quickly. That's too soupy at this point. That's not going to be what I want. I want it to cook down more and get more tender than that. At about the 7-minute mark, what I want to do is open the pot up. I want this to air out because this is wine and I really don't want that much wine in there because I'm going to add half and half. Half and half, like for coffee. That's what I'm going to add to this, and I don't want it to curdle too much. It's okay if it sours, that's not a problem. What I do not want is I don't want it having an overabundance of sharp alcohol, which it shouldn't. It should boil off, and at this point we want it to actually kind of thin out. The real liquid that we want in here after the wine and the balsamic vinegar has done its job with the onions is to put in the half and half. Into the water, I'm putting 4 cups of macaroni. 4 cups. Salted water, and let's go. Just gonna monitor this and just cook it until it's al dente. I love using that word. Hey, our sauce is leveled down. See, it's basically, it's not soaked. It's still moist, but it's not filled with wine and with balsamic. A lot of it boiled off. And these onions are cooked exactly the way I want them. Very tender. Now I'm going to add my 1 cup of half and half, a tablespoon of salt, and I'm going to have to crush this garlic up. And when we get this warming up, we'll start putting cheese in it. Actually, I have a correction here. I misspoke. What I want to do is while I'm heating it, I also want to fold this into the actual half and half. So I'm going to do that now and let this pick up. It'll actually lift the temperature up of the half and half as well. It smells great. I can smell the garlic. Wow. Okay, it's starting to steam a little bit and bubble. I really don't want to really boil it, really. I don't. I said it'll boil, but I really don't want it to. What I want to do is just get it warm. And let me introduce you to the cheeses. This is a block of Velveeta, and I'll probably use almost 3/4 of it. 3/4 of it in here. At least that's what I'm thinking. And definitely star, in my opinion, Swiss. 1 pound of shredded Swiss is going to go in here. That's going to be huge. I may even need more milk. I may need more half and half. But let's start folding this in. At this point, I'm cutting about 3/8 of an inch to about 1/2 inch slices off of that log of Velveeta and dropping them into the boiling half and half. As you see, I'm whisking them around a little bit to make sure that they incorporate into the heating wort or the milk. Really, it's not making beer, but it's really a melt that I'm trying to achieve to make sure it all melts evenly, and it worked. That leaves me with just that small amount left. I used 3/4 of the block. That's what I wanted to do. This has got to start melting a little more, but that's all right, because then once it melts, I can put in the Swiss. I don't want to put the Swiss in until this lower temperature cheese melts. This lower temperature cheese has to melt first. Swiss melts at a much, well, not much higher temperature, but a higher temperature. Okay. Okay, I see something here that I need to do. I see that this is pretty thick already now, and I haven't added the Swiss yet, so I'm going to add another half cup of half and half to this. Just a half cup this time. Half cup. Okay. I don't even know how much that helps. I don't want to add a full cup because I need it thick, but once this gets hot enough, it should thin out a little more. Okay. This looks like it's getting to the point where I can add the Swiss now. So this is going to go in here. Oh. I might as well drop it all in. Let's go, you. No stragglers. No cheese left behind. Oh boy. I'm gonna add one more half cup of milk. Let's put it in. So that makes 2 cups. Once this gets warm, whoops, I want to spill it outside I really don't want to get it on my stove, but that's cooking, right? Okay. Upon second review by the officials, I think this is actually melted enough. I don't think I really want to cook this cheese too much. I just want to get it melted so it'll incorporate with the pasta. And now we can do that. Oh boy. I didn't put oil in here because I thought we'd use it soon enough, and yeah, okay, I made the right decision. I did not want to oil the noodles because that stops it from absorbing a lot of the cheese. I found that to be a case in previous. Oh, look at that. Look at that, America. That's red, white, and blue. Although I'm not sure balsamic is American, but sure, maybe it's American. For now. We're going to want to mix this up. Go clockwise and then up. Go down, around, and then up. Go down, around, and corkscrew up through the layers. Down, around, and corkscrew up. I know that some of you looking at me mixing know my tremendous form, and, well, I don't mean to brag, but I've been to the American Mixing Academy Finals 4 years out of 8, and last year I didn't make the finals because of a wrist injury in my mixing hand, and, well, it didn't work out well, but we don't need to talk about that. But you can see my form's back now, and I'm a award-winning mixer. Well, I'm willing to share. And we're done. That should be it. I'm going to put it into the 2 different molds now, and that's our next step. So I'm going to spray these with oil. It is important for me to mention that this is being done the night before, or the day before, could be the day before or night before, the making of the pizza, because this needs to be done and placed into the glass bowls or forms to thicken in refrigeration so that it becomes firm, solid, and cuttable for the following day to make the pizzas.
What time is it?
It's ZaZone Trivia Time! The Pizza Barn in Yonkers, New York was the first pizzeria in the U.S. to offer its customers what unique dining option? Was it a spaghetti meal in a pizza bowl, a steak tartare pizza, 2-foot-long pizza slice, the you make it, you bake it, make your own pizza concept? I love this answer. A 2-foot pizza slice that can weigh up to 7 pounds based on your toppings. The Pizza Barn opened its doors in 1975, but in 2016 it unveiled its Super Slice, a 2-foot slice that instantly became an internet sensation, attracting fans from around the globe attempting to eat the ginormous slice. It's a picture of dichotomy. The guy on the left who is surprised by a 2-foot slice versus the guy on the right who is ready to become one with it. I want to show you the super slice price list, which is in the pizzeria. The cost of a cheese slice starts at $12 and then $18 for one meat topping. Now, at the bottom, the barnyard slice is $40, and I swear that is created by somebody in an altered state of mind. That's the politically correct way to say that, folks. And that concludes this Zone Trivia Minute. For our white sauce, our cream of Parmesan sauce, which is really cream of mushroom, I've got this pan hot now. I'm gonna put my oil in it. Coat it. There we go. 1 cup of onions, and this time, as you can see, they're not cut, they're not diced, they're just half mooned, or you know, cut to half and quarters, so you can see the way they're cut in here. This is the way it's going to cook down. And for this one, we're going to use a half a cup of Sauvignon Blanc. And that's it. You know, maybe I'm gonna use a little more. Probably 3/4 of a cup. So that's gonna be 3/4, because I want it to actually cover the onions, and then boil off. So let's turn this up high and let this cook up, and then we should be good to go. Okay, now that this is actually boiling in the wine, open this up and let the alcohol out, obviously. I should ignite it, but I'm tired of doing that. All right, now I'm gonna put this diced garlic in here. It's about 7 cloves of garlic. And just let that cook in there. Let that release, soften up, and do its thing. Okay. Well, right now it's 2:17 on Saturday morning. Well, no, Sunday morning. Saturday night and Sunday morning. So I want to get this done. So, because I just want this to cook, cool, and be cold for tomorrow. So this looks pretty good. This is pretty soft. Wonderfully fragrant. The onion and the garlic is just amazing. And right now, for me, this is ready to put all of the mushroom soup in, because I want to get that warm. Actually, I want that to actually boil a little bit to make it so it really blends inside the blender. We're going to do that next. Okay, now time to put 4 of these in here, and let's get to it. Okay, now we'll cover it up. All right, now I'm gonna put a little bit of half and half right in here. There you go. Okay, as you can see, this is now steaming, and this is now when we want to actually, it's boiling, I'm gonna turn it off. I want to actually get it inside the blender now. It is the time. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now we're gonna put it on smooth. I've covered the top. It's got so much power. One thing, I used the smoothie setting and I ran the blender for 1 minute so that I would not over process or over liquefy my sauce. Now I don't want it that thin. I don't want it that thin. No. I don't want it to be water. Okay, so now let's pour this back in. And now it's a hot sauce, of course, as you can see. I'm going to have to put a cup of Parmesan in. Okay. All That's about a cup right there. Now we're gonna mix it up into it. And this will thicken because of the cheese. It'll actually thicken inside. It'll become actually a thicker sauce tomorrow. Do it one more time here. New spoon. That Parmesan's fantastic. I'm gonna use a little more Parmesan. A little more Parmesan. Okay. This means I actually used 1.5 cups of Parmesan at this point. That'll be really good. There you go. There's your sauce. There's my white Parmesan sauce, hijacked from cream of mushroom. And I'm loving it. With my flour already on the countertop, it's time for me to take the dough that has already risen and fallen out of the bowl and put it onto the countertop. And as you can tell, I sprayed the pan there. It comes out clean when you do that. Next, what I have to do is equalize the dough into 6 segments. I'm going to make 6 pizzas out of this amount of dough. And right now I'm going to get into a circle, and I'm just going to cut it into, well, 6 wedges really. You'll see what I do here. After dividing it in half, of course I'll be dividing it into 3 segments in each half. This is much easier for me to split the dough and be more accurate with my consistency for each pizza. I'm going to be covering the pan with olive oil, both on the bottom and on the sides, very quickly of course. Then comes the widening of the dough. As you see, what my goal here is to put a flour and widen it, make sure it gets to the corners of the pan and make sure that it's consistently even in thickness. You can feel that when you're pressing down on it. You can also see the translucency of the dough. You can see in this example, you really don't see any thin spots where you can see down to the pan, and that's good. That's about what you want when you're doing this. After I'm done, this is going to go directly into the oven, and then of course I'm going to be making the additional 5 sheets. I've got 4 spots in my oven on the rack to par cook the dough, but with that said, by the time I get down to the 5th and 6th sheet, the 1st and 2nd will be out, and everything will go in a smooth order, and we will be on our way to pizza making. Okay, for the mac and cheese pizza, it's pretty simple. But you saw me make the mac and cheese, and then I'm taking this, cutting it up into strips, and laying it onto the pizza in strips, and you get that great bite, that unctuous bite of macaroni my way with Swiss and Velveeta. And you also get a topping of mozzarella, Swiss, and Monterey Jack. And those are the 3 cheeses that are used on the topping as well. And more importantly, or well, uniquely, it has a cream Parmesan sauce, a white sauce on the bottom, not a tomato sauce, because I don't want to overpower the profile of the mac and cheese. That's really important. I don't want to do that, so that's why I use just a white Parmesan sauce. You saw me make as well, and you know I hijacked it with cream of mushroom. You know that. It's one of those secrets. So secrets out of the bag. Anyways, let's make this next. Chop, chop, chop. Lay, lay, lay. Bake, bake, bake. As you can see here, the white cream Parmesan sauce is thick enough. It certainly covers very well. I can go to edge with it in the pan, and no cheater crust. Remember, I color right to the edges of the lines, and I really do like the way it's going on. I'm very happy with it. It cooled nicely. I wanted to show you this process here. What I'm doing, if you look over to the right of the screen, I'm actually laying down the mac and cheese out of the pan because I sprayed it with that canola oil so it comes right out cleanly in one sheet, and that's what's going to allow me to actually cut it and lay it down in strips onto the pizza. As is my default modus operandi with pizza, when making sheet pizzas like this, I'm always doing 8 slices per sheet. So as you can see, I'm laying it out where I can cut 8 slices and have the macaroni in the middle of all of those slices. And that was really the big objective for me. Almost done, and then comes my favorite, the cheese. The 3 cheeses being used are mozzarella, Swiss, and Monterey Jack. The percentages are 40% mozzarella and about 30% Swiss and Monterey Jack each. That's my estimated percentage, if you wanted to know. And now these are ready to go into the oven. The mac and cheese pizza is ready, but we're going to put it on the bottom now at this point. Put it on the bottom to just cure up for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and start the timer. There we go. The mac and cheese pizza is really hot, and I want to just show you something here. If I can zoom in really quickly. I don't know if you can see it, but the sticking, it's a cheese here. Cheese right here is a little wet, so we're going to have to let this sit a little longer. I can't pull it out of the parchment because this mac and cheese is a much moister pizza, and it has the mac and cheese contents running out to the edges as well, which is good, but it's what is going to stop me from pulling it out sooner rather than later. Okay, well, here you go, the mac and cheese pizza. Just a follow-up note, as the pizza did cool, I was able to pull it from the parchment, which is why you see it here, obviously. Well, this is the third pizza I'm sampling tonight, and I'm really not that hungry. I really wasn't that hungry when I started eating any of the pizzas. They were all good, but let me just cut a piece off of this one. I just showed it to you cut up. But, well, this is kind of messy. Messy because it should be. It's mac and cheese. But here's kind of what you're looking at. It's it's a whole layer of mac and cheese with the white sauce on the bottom, the mac and cheese, and then the cheese on top. And the white sauce is really because if I use a classic red sauce, my classic red, it'll just pound. It's like having two lead guitarists playing in a band that are playing 2 different lead solos at the same time. You can't do that. This white sauce is basically like a good bass player to the lead guitarist on this one, which is the mac and cheese. So this is why I used a subdued Parmesan cream sauce versus a dynamic red sauce with something like mac and cheese. And let me try this right now. Hold on. I'm talking and not even eating it. Wow. Yeah. Not hungry, but good. It is good. This is what I want. The mac and cheese is what I'm really tasting. Like I said, the white sauce is basically the bass player. But the mac and cheese is playing the solo, or the lead singer if you want to do that. Very good. I didn't overcook the macaroni when I made the mac and cheese. I made it fairly firm because I knew it also had to cook here. And it's not mushy. It actually has texture in the noodles, and I like that. That's something I would urge you. Don't cook your mac and cheese to death if you're going to make pizza out of it, or you're just going to have mush in your pizza. That's very important. Please remember that. Don't cook your macaroni a lot. It should be really firm, because it's going to have to cook again, and then it's going to have to heat up again if you freeze it. It just holds up much better. Please remember that. And this pizza is good. It's what I expected. I've made this before, made this numerous times, also with white sauce. I might even have a this on my older channel somewhere on YouTube. But this is what I like, using macaroni with a white sauce. Let macaroni be the star. However you make your macaroni, it could be whatever you want. But don't put a powerful sauce on it, or it's going to be competing. Thank you for joining me.